Hello, my name is Sig Eiriksson, and we're back for another video, to be posted on Eagles Gather. And I'd like to just welcome you back. It's been a while since I've done another video, onto YouTube, Eagles Gather. But the one today, I think you're going to find it very, very interesting. I titled it The Titanic. And all throughout the years since the sinking of the Titanic, there have been all kinds of stories written. There have been movies produced about the Titanic. They've even tried to send tour groups down into the depths of the ocean to give people a personalized view of the remnants of the Titanic. But I want to approach it from a little bit different angle. So I think you're going to find this very, very interesting. My wife and I, we kind of research and watch all kinds of videos on television, Smithsonian Channel, and for example. And so this one, I hope that you're going to find it very interesting. Anyway, the way I want to start off this video on the Titanic is to kind of ask you a question. And here's the question. The question is, have you ever in your own personal life experienced hypothermia? And a lot of people don't know what it is, but I have personally experienced it, and it is absolutely terrifying. And so what occurred was that we were at a kind of a mission celebration outside barbecue fire just south of Brandon, Manitoba. And of course, sitting around a fire, you're getting nice and warm on the front, but your back is getting cold because it's not in the heat of the fire. And 2 times in a row I experienced this. Hopefully it wasn't one night after the other or whatever, but as soon as I got up from the campfire and we doused it with water, put it out, I started to feel like I couldn't walk. And I didn't know what that was at the time or whatever, but I mean, seriously, yeah, the results of something like this are just horrifying to the body and to your mind. Now, what I had to do, I had to reach for the keys to the vehicle in my pocket, go out there and start it. I could hardly do that. I could hardly move, let alone get the keys out of my pocket to get into the vehicle and turn the key to get started. So I kind of knew right away that I had to get warmed up. But yeah, it was terrifying, and a wake-up call, basically, that people need to be prepared for where they go, how they're dressed, and how long they're going to stay in certain places. And of course, with night falling, that even makes it a little bit more dangerous. So I just want to re-emphasize, that happened to me twice, and since then, if the weather's not very nice where we live right now, if we're taking the dog out for a walk, I even sometimes wear my parka just to keep warm, knowing about hypothermia. So anyway, to carry this on a little bit, because we're going to end up talking about the Titanic, I went on a summer camp to Ontario one time with the Air Cadets, and I was thrilled because I was planning on entering the military and going into the Air Force. We were at Trenton, Ontario, and we had an opportunity to go and swim in Lake Ontario. So I was absolutely thrilled with this, except when I put my toes and my body into Lake Ontario. Talk about freezing cold. I couldn't believe it, how cold the water was. And the other thing that you have to be very, very careful of when you're in larger bodies of water is that these gentle, nice little waves come up to the shore and they splash and they make a noise and then they recede and go back down or whatever. And a lot of times when you go out, you don't have to go out into deep water like Ontario or the ocean too far, and the depth of the water drops off seriously. And so I was surprised about that too. And so what you have to be careful of there is not only the temperature of the water and what you're about to experience there, but also this little bit of wave when it comes up to the shore as it goes back out, it's kind of, I think it's called like a riptide or whatever. It will actually, if the waves are a little bit deeper, wash you further out into the water rather than allowing you to get up and out of the water where probably if you feel that it's too cold, you should be doing. Anyway, you know, people have to be very, very careful. They should learn about where they're going and the dangers and clothing, and in case something happens where they can't just get back or whatever, people should know where they're going, how long. You should take protective equipment with you, whatever that may be. And so we'll carry on with it. So to the Titanic. Now the Titanic, when it set sail, there were thousands of people on board the Titanic. It was a huge, huge ship. It was called the Unsinkable Ship. Now right off the get-go, you think that, oh boy, you know, that might not be a good title to coin the Titanic. But they did, the Unsinkable Ship. And some people give this phrase as well. They said, not even God could sink this ship. Now, that's not saying that God did sink the ship in the end or whatever, but it's still kind of a terrifying thing to put God into the picture and say, hey, nothing you can do, Lord God, is going to stop this crossing of this ship across the ocean on a maiden voyage or whatever. But anyway, okay, things proceeded. Now, on board this ship was a fellow by the name of John Harper, okay? And so the passenger list, you can go on YouTube and find out, you know, who the passengers were on the ship and all kinds of things and whether they survived or not. And it's kind of a neat, interesting, detailed research that you can do. But John Harper was one of the passengers on the ship, and he happened to be a Scottish preacher. Okay, so he's on the ship now, and I would suppose that he's kind of maybe doing regular things on the boat. There were all of these different decks on the boat, first class, second class, third class, and so. And you see these Caribbean cruise ships that are maybe, I don't know, 10 stories high or levels high or whatever. It all looks very, very scary to me when I see some of this stuff on TV. But anyway, so somewhere out in the ocean, the Titanic gets into trouble, and people they're putting lifeboats out, doing all this kind of thing. And John Harper, okay, is talking to the people. He's trying to calm them down, trying to get them in an orderly fashion onto lifeboats and things like that. And so eventually he's helping put these people into the lifeboats. He's not necessarily caring about himself or whatever, but he's helping them out, doing the best he can. And so it boils down to the fact that toward the end of this little episode about the Titanic and John Harper, he's basically finds himself very close to the water in a lifeboat, and he's giving assistance to people to keep them with their life jackets on for possible rescue or whatever the case may be. And he himself gives his own life jacket away, and he eventually finds himself in the water. And now we're talking now the Atlantic Ocean, which hypothermia was already taking all kinds of people down below the surface, and they were disappearing from sight. And eventually this happened as well to John Harper. He sunk down in the water, and he wasn't seen again, but he was doing his absolute best to help everybody else out. Now, I say all of this detail can be found on YouTube. Very, very interesting and things like that. And so basically what he said in the end, he said there are 3 different classes on the ship, the Titan. He says there is first class, second class, and third class on the ship. And I would imagine that would refer to the 3 decks or whatever. And he says, but in the end, when the Titanic sunk, he makes the statement, and he says, basically, he says, but there were only really 2 classes, he says. And those were the classes of the people that got saved and the people that did not get saved. And so quite a change in terms of, you know, what happened. And it was an eye-opener for me personally. And yeah, and it's the same with the ways of this world. You're a believer in God, or you're not. And so there's the two options there. And so we see the kind of options play out on the Titanic with John Harper as well. So that ends this little episode.